Tonight, could Canada's trade battle finally be over?
We made it to the finish line.
Signing on to a new NAFTA deal.
The president's continuing abuse of his power has left us no choice.
The Democrats formally call for President Trump to be impeached. Our first close look at the aftermath in New Zealand after a volcano erupted. Is this the future of air travel? The world's first electric plane takes flight. This is The National. After years of negotiations, 2 elections, and all kinds of political drama between Canada, the U.S., and Mexico, a big moment today that had a real air of celebration. All 3 countries signed on to a revised new free trade deal, with Canada calling it a win-win-win, and the U.S., quote, nothing short of a miracle. Katie Simpson walks us through what's different this time.
There had been great doubt this moment would ever happen, that an agreement was possible after closed-door shouting matches, name-calling, broken deadlines, and squandered goodwill. But they made it.
This has been a long, arduous, and at times fraught negotiation. We made it to the finish line because we learned how to work together.
It's nothing short of a miracle that we have all come together. I think that's a testament to how good the agreement is.
Trump's top man on trade had to find consensus both at home and abroad. Robert Lighthizer accepted demands from the Democrats in exchange for a promise to pass NAFTA through Congress.
In terms of our work here, it is infinitely better than what was initially proposed by the administration.
Nancy Pelosi asked for a change to make it easier to lower prescription drug prices and demanded new ways to monitor working conditions in Mexico to make sure labor and environmental standards are being met. Ideas Canada says it had been pushing for from the start.
It is with great satisfaction that I see quite a lot of those positions actually being part of the amended agreement that we all signed today.
It was more than just progressive ideas that led to this breakthrough. Mexico accepted deep concessions, so much so the Americans tried to ease their pain by awkwardly gushing over the Mexican president.
I am so proud to be here and honored to be here with the president of Mexico, who is this historic figure. And I want to give my best wishes again from the president of the United States, who is a truly historic figure also.
Katie, Chrystia Freeland heading back here tonight. Give us a sense of how this new deal is going to be received here in Canada.
The aluminum industry, which is a big concern in Quebec, is not happy. It had wanted more protections that didn't come through, and that's going to be a problem for the Liberals. And there will likely be more complaints from different industries as the details are made fully public. But the Trudeau government overall sees this as a major win. Remember, the most powerful leader in the world, President Donald Trump, was ready, willing, and able to end this trade deal completely. And of course, the Canadian economy relies so heavily upon it. The Prime Minister's first mandate was dedicated to making sure the trading relationship with the U.S. remained intact. And there tonight is some deep relief in Ottawa. That is still the case. Rosie.
Okay, Katie Simpson for us in Mexico City tonight. Thanks, Katie. So now that the new NAFTA deal has been signed, it needs to be ratified in each country. But the timelines for that are still very much in flux. Mexican officials say they wanted to get their deal to the Senate within hours. But Minister Freeland will only say it's in Canada's interest to ratify it as soon as possible. That will mean, of course, getting a minority parliament, at least part of it, on side. And the Bloc Québécois, for instance, already expressing some concern. In the U.S., meanwhile, the House is likely to vote before the end of the year, but the Senate probably won't until January or February, after when many expected Donald Trump's impeachment trial to take place. And tonight, the U.S. president is one step closer to that impeachment trial. Democrats in the House of Representatives announced 2 formal charges against Donald Trump: abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. Susan Ormiston has the details from Washington.
Straight up and somber, the Democrats move to impeach the President of the United States.
The president's continuing abuse of his power has left us no choice.
Adam Schiff, whom Trump calls Shifty Schiff, turned the tables.
Why don't you just let him cheat in one more election? Why not let him cheat just one more time?
Trump faces impeachment on 2 charges: abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, both related to his pressuring Ukraine to investigate a political rival for his own personal gain. Trump called the charges weak and political madness before Republicans took aim.
You know, back in 2016, the Democrats called those who supported Donald Trump deplorables. And now they're trying to disqualify their votes.
Formal charges set in motion a series of votes this week and next, which could make Donald Trump the 3rd American president to be impeached.
All of us commenting on it.
Bizarrely, the second one popped up today, supporting a vote.
Congress is doing what they believe is right. American people will see. Is it true, and is it what they say? And is it then what should be done with it if it's true? Meanwhile, the rest of us should go about our lives.
Strange how these 2 leaders could intersect in such an unflattering way. Stranger still that Russia sent its top diplomat to Washington today, of all days, to meet the Secretary of State publicly.
We also spent a fair amount of time talking about Ukraine.
And meet privately in the Oval Office with Donald Trump. Tonight in Pennsylvania, at a rally, the U.S. president stands charged with impeachment and very defiant.
Today, the House Democrats announced these 2 flimsy, pathetic, ridiculous articles of impeachment.
So the White House strategy: denigrate the impeachment process, keep an eye on those battleground states, and prepare for a trial in the Senate in January. Susan Ormiston, CBC News, Washington.
As for what happens next in all of this, the charges or articles of impeachment will be debated and voted on by the Judiciary Committee, and that could happen within days. It is expected to pass, and it would trigger a full vote in the House of Representatives. Now, remember, the House is controlled by the Democrats, so it's expected to pass there too. But the next step is where the process could grind to a halt, since Republicans control the Senate, where the trial will be held. Still in the United States, 6 people are dead, including a police officer. A gun battle in the streets of Jersey City. It all started near a cemetery where a police officer was shot.
We cried with the family. It's one of the hardest things that you ever have to see in your entire life.
2 suspects then fled to a grocery store where they holed up and opened fire.
It was a war zone. It was gunpowder. And I have never experienced nothing like that in my life.
SWAT teams arrived quickly. Nearby schools were locked down and bystanders evacuated to safety. In the end, both suspects and 3 bystanders were killed. It's not clear what sparked the violence. In New Zealand today, where Monday's volcanic eruption has now killed at least 6 people, efforts to recover the bodies of more victims hit a roadblock. Meanwhile, Stephen D'Souza tells us stories of some of the survivors and their rescuers are now emerging.
Steam and smoke continue to rise into the clear blue sky above White Island. On the ground, a blanket of ash covers part of the landscape as a helicopter team searched for signs of life. Newlyweds Lauren and Matthew Urey were on their honeymoon, touring the volcano before it erupted. They survived, and Matthew left his mother a voicemail that shook her.
Terrified, any horrible emotion you can imagine. I hung up and quickly called him back and at least got to hear his voice, that he was at the hospital, but his hands were severely burned. He really couldn't use the phone.
In the immediate aftermath of the eruption, helicopter pilots rushed back to save dozens of people. New Zealand's Prime Minister praised their efforts.
I want to acknowledge their courage and their immediate efforts to get people off the island. Those pilots made an incredibly brave decision under extremely dangerous circumstances.
8 bodies remained on the island. Authorities say all are now presumed dead. Recovery teams can't land until the island is deemed safe.
We cannot put other people in jeopardy to go out there until we're absolutely certain that the island is actually safe.
Scientists monitoring the volcano say tremors have increased since this morning, and another eruption is a possibility. The Prime Minister says the priority now is the survivors.
The absolute focus at the moment is ensuring that we have the very best care for those who were injured as a result of the eruptions.
Those killed or injured in the eruption came from Europe, the US, China, Malaysia, New Zealand, and Australia. Most were passengers on this cruise ship, which stayed in port during the chaos and left today.
It's hard to find the words for it, to be fair. Just wanted to send our love and our compassion.
Authorities say a criminal investigation is underway, though it's not clear who is to blame, as the world asks why tourists were allowed to visit such a dangerous site. Stephen D'Souza, CBC News, New York.
Just to the west, in Australia, a different kind of danger. Dozens of wildfires have blanketed Sydney in a toxic haze so thick it's triggering fire alarms. Yesterday, New South Wales Fire and Rescue said they responded to more than 500 fire alarms set off when smoke seeped into buildings, which you can barely see there. Their advice to people: if you call with an actual fire, make sure you say so. In places, the haze was up to 11 times the level considered hazardous. Outside the city, meanwhile, where the fires are burning, conditions are expected to ease. Just as Canadians Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor marked a full year detained in China, their cases took a new turn, apparently for the worse. Beijing says the pair accused of spying are being handed over to prosecutors. Catherine Cullen explains where that leaves them and Ottawa.
We thought this video was important to just get back to the basic truths about the case.
Michael Kovrig's colleagues made this video to keep up pressure for his release after a year in a Chinese detention facility without seeing his family or a lawyer.
He's surviving. He's surviving the best he can.
Today, a next step. The Chinese Foreign Ministry says Kovrig and Michael Spavor's cases have been referred to prosecutors, meaning the men could be going to trial.
Really, he's just been a pawn in these geopolitical games, and there's no real evidence that he did anything wrong.
Many observers believe this is all payback for Canada arresting Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou.
It's our top priority. I know that.
The government says it's seized with trying to get the Canadians released.
We have had the Prime Minister and now 2 ministers of foreign affairs who've made it their top priority.
But after a year, there have been no obvious signs of progress. Some are urging Canada to get tougher with China, including freezing the assets of some Chinese officials.
Leader of the opposition.
Today, the Conservatives suggested another option, a special Canada-China committee to examine this and other thorny issues in the relationship.
Right now, Canada needs to stand up for our interests, for our values, for our citizens.
Now, there is also partisanship here. O'Toole wants the committee to be able to grill the Prime Minister. The Liberals don't like it, but this is a minority parliament, and the committee is going ahead. The politics playing out, all while Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor continue to live in uncertainty. Catherine Cullen, CBC News, Ottawa.
So as Catherine noted there, it's widely believed that Kovrig and Spavor's detention is linked to Canada's arrest of Meng Wanzhou. But while the outlook for the two Canadians looks as grim as ever, Meng's defense team scored a significant victory. She has won the right to access more documents regarding her arrest. Meng's defense suggests that they'll reveal that police actually conspired with the FBI to violate her rights. The judge was clear that remains to be seen, but the claims are serious enough to be examined. Her extradition hearing, though, begins next month. Justin Trudeau, in need of allies in Canada's West, appears to be in listening mode. And today, the Alberta Premier, he sure had a lot to say. David Cochrane has some of the reality behind today's face-to-face photo op.
They are political rivals, political opponents, trying hard to work together.
We talk about the very real challenges facing Albertans through no fault of their own.
As you know, we've been down here for the past couple of days with what I call Team Alberta, 8 ministers and 11 deputy ministers.
We're here on Parliament Hill. Kenny brought a big team and a big list of demands. Some the Prime Minister won't meet, some he just might.
The Prime Minister was willing to listen to our case and indicate an openness on a number of issues.
That openness has some limits. Kenny wants Trudeau to scrap liberal environmental laws he says are crippling the oil patch. That won't happen, but they could be tweaked to make life easier for the energy sector.
He's indicated an openness, and we appreciate that.
The Prime Minister reiterated the government's openness to talk about implementation.
Trudeau's Western advisor says there was common ground on those environmental laws and on finishing the TMX pipeline expansion.
It was respectful and it was intelligent, and there was an exchange among leaders of such an important province and the Government of Canada.
So the words were nice, with both sides turning down the temperature, but one side keeping up the pressure, as Kenny made it clear he's looking for action.
The next few weeks will be critical in determining the seriousness of this federal government to respond to the deep and legitimate concerns in Western Canada.
The next test comes when Canada's finance ministers meet here next week. On the agenda is Alberta's request for Ottawa to find a way to support oil-producing provinces financially. That request has the backing of all of the provincial governments. They just need the federal government to say yes. David Cochran, CBC News, Ottawa.
Turning now to the NHL, and another top coach gone over misconduct allegations, the second now in just 2 weeks. Jim Montgomery of the Dallas Stars was abruptly fired today. We don't know exactly why yet, but as Jamie Strachan explains, this comes just after the league promised to bring the hammer down over misconduct.
Monty was a great one, of course. Just a year and a half after he was hired, Jim Montgomery is out. Dallas Stars general manager Jim Nill wouldn't say exactly why.
I'm not going to discuss the act. Unfortunately, I can't. That I cannot divulge.
All Nill would say is that Montgomery was fired for an unprofessional act disclosed to the team on the weekend.
That's where the NHL is going to have a hard time. Is that
employment lawyer Daniel Lublin says the team likely had no choice.
It was likely something that happened in his personal life, which, if and when uncovered, would reflect poorly on him and on the team.
Nill says it isn't related to any current or former player or team employee, and says that no criminal investigation is underway. It's been a stunning month that all started when the Toronto Maple Leafs fired head coach Mike Babcock. Stories quickly emerged from former and current players alleging Babcock's mental abuse and tactics. Then former NHLer Akeem Aliu said Calgary Flames head coach Bill Peters made racist comments to him. Peters resigned a few days later.
There are lines that cannot be crossed. Clearly, physical abuse and racial and homophobic language cross the line.
The NHL promised yesterday to develop mandatory diversity training for all coaches and general managers and plans a possible hotline. Still, Bettman acknowledged a gray area.
If something became harassment, that would get my attention more than, a single yelling incident.
Lublin says the NHL should have been dealing with these issues years ago.
Players sign contracts, there's a union, they're paid wages for the work they perform, highly paid albeit, but nonetheless it's a workplace. And like any other workplace in Canada and in the United States, there have to be rules around the treatment of the employees.
Lublin says the world is changing quickly, and the NHL can't afford to stand still. Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.
More news ahead on The National, including how new passenger rights laws could affect your next flight. You'll want to hear that. And up next, how is Boris Johnson doing just days before the UK election? A closer look at his campaign and some thoughts from his dad. Why not? And the biggest meth bust in Manitoba's history. We are back in 2. The UK election is just 2 days away, and according to the latest polls, Boris Johnson's Conservatives are on track for a majority. The pollsters have the Tories at 43% support, with the Labour Party trailing at 32%. The country, of course, is mired in the 3-year debate over Brexit, and if those numbers pan out, Johnson would have the majority that he needs to finally push that deal through. In fact, as Renee Filippone reports, Get Brexit Done seems to be Johnson's singular campaign focus. But will it be enough to sway weary British voters?
Pushing through on the final days, sticking to message. Clear and simple, it's been Boris Johnson's strategy.
Get Brexit done. We've just got to get Brexit done.
And his loyal soldiers are pushing it. In marginal ridings, the party says it needs to win.
So what are we going to get done?
And he is selling Johnson as the only man who can end the stalemate.
They like the fact that he just talks straight and he's been really clear about what we'll deliver. And that's what
Johnson has made this promise before.
That you will not go back to Brussels and ask for another delay to Brexit.
Yes.
And sorry.
I can.
And would you
I'd rather be dead in a ditch.
Brexit didn't happen. Instead, he forced an election. Throughout, his trustworthiness has been questioned.
Does the truth matter in this election?
I think it does. And I think it's very important.
Openly mocked by his critics.
You refuse to look at the photo. You've taken my phone, put it in your pocket.
He faced new backlash this week when a reporter tried to show him a picture of a child forced to lie on the floor of an overcrowded hospital.
What you see is a clip.
Stanley Johnson defends his son, who he has been campaigning for.
He has a tough job. Don't let anybody tell you that this is a walkover. It is not a walkover.
Behind me, you can see Boris Johnson is just there, very familiar.
It's been more than 30 years, but Neil Sherlock recalls clearly beating Johnson in an election for Oxford Union president. He says the man hasn't changed.
He still focuses on really being a performer, using sort of rhetoric, jokes to deflect, pauses where he sort of plays with his head. Personalities in the age we're in clearly do have an appeal.
Hi.
Who is it?
It's carol singers.
Leaning into that populist label he has been branded with in the final days of the campaign, Johnson borrows from a Christmas classic, rebranding it Brexit, actually.
Enough. Let's get this done.
Renee Filippone, CBC News, London.
It's a good ad. We're watching several other stories in this country tonight, including a cleanup underway in the Maritimes after an overnight storm forced dozens of people from their homes.
What woke you up last night?
A whoop. Just a bang, like it felt like an earthquake. Our bed actually shook.
In St. John, nearly 50 people were evacuated after 2 apartment buildings were badly damaged by just relentless wind. Other parts of New Brunswick saw flood damage caused by heavy rains. Meanwhile, powerful wind gusts also forced evacuations in Nova Scotia. Some 60 people were ordered out of this apartment building after stormy weather blew off most of the roof. At the storm's peak, more than 60,000 customers were without power in that region.
The result of this year-long project is the largest seizure of methamphetamine in the history of Manitoba.
RCMP have arrested 11 people and seized over 65 kilograms of meth and cocaine, all part of what officers are calling a historic organized crime investigation in Western Canada. A total of 9 raids were executed involving dozens of officers in Winnipeg, St. Laurent, and Calgary. Officials say drugs seized in this bust alone had a street value of $6.5 million.
The union has dug in their heels from day one, with no change at all.
This minister is intent on inflating the number, ratcheting up the rhetoric, which is the opposite of good faith bargaining.
So as you can see there, the back and forth continues between the Ontario government and the union representing public secondary school teachers. This as students in the province prepare for another one-day strike tomorrow across 11 school boards, including the Toronto District, Canada's largest school board. When we come back, flight delayed or canceled, well, soon you'll finally be able to ask for compensation. But there's a catch, there always is. What you need to know before you fly, just ahead. The busy holiday season is almost here, and it will be the first one where Canadian travelers will be armed with new passenger rights. The first phase came into effect this summer and covers lost luggage and being bumped off flights. The second phase, though, takes effect this Sunday and covers delays and cancellations. But as Jacqueline Hansen tells us, there's already concern airlines will find loopholes.
The countdown is on to the next wave of airline passenger rights, especially at Canada's busiest airport.
Oh, it's great. The idea of getting compensated hundreds of dollars for my delay, my time is worth that, so I like it.
Under the new rules, if passengers are delayed for more than 3 hours, major airlines such as Air Canada and WestJet will be on the hook for between $400 and $1,000. But there are exceptions. Airlines won't have to pay if a delay or cancellation is due to weather, or if an aircraft has unplanned mechanical maintenance. While most travelers no doubt prefer safety over speed, some are concerned airlines won't admit when a disruption is their fault.
I think we're going to see a lot more mechanical problems versus what we probably were seeing before.
And critics say the Canadian rules fall short of those in the European Union, where most delays due to mechanical issues are covered.
We think that that's a loophole that the carriers may take advantage of.
The Canadian Automobile Association helped consult on the new rules on behalf of travelers.
We give the package that's come out about a 7 out of 10. We think it's got a lot of good stuff in it, but it's far from perfect.
But the National Airlines Council of Canada warns that the new rules will increase costs for airlines and in turn will push fares higher for consumers. Smaller carriers such as Sunwing, Porter, and Flair will be responsible for smaller payouts, between $125 and $500.
The compensation should never exceed the price of the ticket, for one thing.
The group that represents them says that's still too much.
It has to be a compensation and not a windfall for the passengers, because you're just fragilizing the airlines if you're just being ridiculous in terms of levels of compensation being paid out.
But critics say it's a cost of doing business.
The carriers have always said that they've had their own internal policies and that they do compensate people under some circumstances. If that's true, they shouldn't really be paying out much more now than they were before.
If airlines break the new rules, the fines will be much higher than any passenger payout, $25,000 per violation. And the Canadian Transportation Agency says it will be tracking flights to make sure that travelers who file for compensation and deserve it get paid. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Toronto.
Also, as of Sunday, airlines will be required to seat children near their parent or guardian. So if the child is under 5 years old, they will have to be in an adjacent seat. If they're between 5 and 11, they'll have to be in the same row, no more than a seat apart. And if they're 12 or 13, they have to be within 2 rows of their parent or guardian. Until now, airlines had their own policies, but they were under no obligation to follow them, prompting some families to pay extra to make sure they were seated with their children. Still ahead on The National, our series on electric vehicles continues. Are they really better for the environment? David Common finds out. Plus, check that out. The world's first all-electric seaplane takes flight. That's next.
10.
Welcome back. A Chilean Air Force plane with 38 people on board is believed to have crashed near Antarctica. The Hercules C-130 was carrying 21 passengers and 17 crew when it took off from the southern part of Chile. Those on board were set assist with maintenance at the Antarctic base, but controllers lost contact with the plane about an hour into the flight. The Air Force says there is little chance of finding survivors at this point. A memorial is growing outside a Czech hospital after a gunman killed 6 people before fatally shooting himself earlier today. The attack happened in the hospital's waiting room. The gunman opened fire without warning, hitting 9 patients. 4 men and 2 women were killed, and 3 other people were wounded. It's still unclear what motivated the shooting. Reports, though, suggest the man was a patient at the hospital. And in Pennsylvania today, Bill Cosby lost his bid to overturn his sexual assault conviction. Cosby's lawyers argued the judge improperly allowed 5 women to testify in last year's retrial, even though only 1 testified at the first trial. But today, the court ruled the testimony is allowed because it establishes a pattern of drugging and assaulting women. The 82-year-old actor and comedian is serving up to 10 years in prison for a 2004 encounter. A spokesperson says they will try again in state Supreme Court. Well, this week on The National, we are taking a closer look at electric vehicles. Can they go the distance on a road trip? Can the supply keep up with demand? And tonight, we're looking at what electric vehicles can and can't do to mitigate environmental damage. Now, electric vehicles obviously have upsides. They produce no exhaust, they're cheaper to keep on the road, and they're largely recyclable. But they're not infallible. Designed to solve one environmental problem, they now actually present another one. In place of the standard combustion engine, EVs run on batteries, which suggests a cleaner, more efficient power source with less waste. But the truth is, it's not quite that simple. Battery production comes with its own environmental impacts. But as the industry grows, there's already an effort to get ahead of the curve. Our David Common looks into this one, too.
Get into the guts of a car and you'll find all those polluting parts, gas tanks and exhaust systems. But here in a graveyard of cars, Maritime Auto Parts' Andrew McDonald is extracting something new.
So this is where you keep the batteries?
Yeah, we store them here before we ship them out.
This is them?
Not just any batteries, but the power source propelling electric vehicles, the most significant shift to cars since, well, cars first existed. Back when the internal combustion engine was first used on wheels, no one gave much thought to its carbon footprint. Kind of how we got to the point we're at today. Nearly a quarter of carbon emissions come from the transportation sector. For manufacturers under pressure now from consumers and governments, electric vehicles are seen as the new direction. Batteries not just at the center of the cars, but central to their green success. So, are they greener? How much so? Back at the salvage yard, we've set up our own little studio to get to the truth about EV's footprint.
Hi, Jennifer Dunn.
Hi.
Okay, so you work at Northwestern University's Center for Engineering, Sustainability, and Resilience, and you're the person to answer this question. What are the things when it's an electric vehicle that you take into account about its environmental impact?
One really important aspect of an EV to think about is its battery. There are a lot of moving parts there to really dig into to understand the environmental effects.
So what are the kinds of things that you consider?
The cathode material that helps power the battery is produced from a number of different metals. So things like nickel and cobalt and lithium. And each of those metals has kind of a different supply chain.
Lithium is the component of choice for today's batteries, capable of packing more than 10 times the power of a daily household's electric needs into a car. And that's led to big lithium demand, expected to at least triple by 2025.
Already, mining is eating up freshwater supply in South America's lithium-rich regions, requires harsh chemicals in extraction in North America. Then there's copper, nickel, cobalt, all with dark sides of their own.
Yes, it could.
So what's the solution?
And there are many efforts to try and think about responsible supply chains, but there's still more that we can do to understand this. And we're really at an opportunity stage now where we're starting still to ramp up our use of EVs, and we have a chance to really understand the supply chain, understand environmental effects, and do our best to make those as minimal as possible.
So we are at a stage where electric vehicles are better for the environment, but they're not some utopia.
There's very few things that are utopian. And so it's one thing that I do is try to understand the supply chains, understand where we can improve things.
I guess where you get your electricity to charge your battery really matters too.
That does matter, you're right. In fact, if one were to use purely coal-fired electricity to charge your EV, then the environmental benefits, the GHG benefits, aren't as clear.
Coal is one of the least green ways to generate electricity for anything, including EVs. But coal-generated power is still cleaner than burning gasoline in a regular car. That according to Jennifer's numbers. Generally, though, North American electrical grids, which charge EVs, are made up of a mix, some coal, but plenty of nuclear and hydro. An EV powered by that mix means half the emissions of a gas car. But pure renewables, like wind, that's where EVs really maximize their potential. Virtually no negative impact on the environment. Of course, even if we get to better mining practices, more responsible supply chains, and renewable electrical grids, we still have piles of batteries in Andrew's yard and many others. What about those?
Yeah, so the manufacturers build these things, and then we're expected to figure out what those cars are made of. So, I mean, one side you've got lots of plastic components and metal components, but now these are complicated chemistries that we're trying to figure out. So there's lots of stuff going on in the research labs around the world trying to figure out what to do with these things, but certainly there's a big potential for what you can do with them, yeah.
One of the top lithium battery research labs in the world is actually right here in Canada. Dalhousie's physics department looking at both afterlife applications for batteries and extending the life of the batteries themselves. In the world of lithium ion, Jeff Dawn is a bit of a god. The man behind the groundbreaking paper on the million-mile battery, but not above teaching us the basics. What's that?
That's a flat pouch type lithium ion cell. So I have here small cells that we use in our research, and if you cut open this pouch and extract what we call the jelly roll, you can see what it looks like. And this aluminum foil is the current collector for the positive electrode. When we come to this black material, that's the positive electrode material. In this case, it's in our jargon called NMC. It stands for lithium nickel manganese cobalt oxide.
I did think as you were unrolling it that it looked like a fruit roll-up.
Yeah, that's why we call it a jelly roll.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly why it's called a jelly roll.
So all of this is just a small version of what could be in a car. You're trying to stuff a whole lot more power into that.
Yeah, that's the idea.
After 30 years in the industry, he sees where we've come from and also where we have to go. So what's the big picture problem you're trying to solve here?
We're trying to help make lithium-ion batteries last longer. We're trying to help lower their cost, and we're trying to improve their energy density so they can store more energy per unit weight.
Why does that kind of thing matter in our broader society?
You have to eliminate fossil fuels, it's clear, okay? And if you want to use renewable energy for your source of power, well, the sun and the wind aren't there all the time. So it means you have to be able to store electrical energy. And more importantly, you know, how the heck do you figure out if a battery's going to last 30 years in experiments that only take a few weeks? And that's challenging. It's fun.
What's the fun part?
Solving these problems, you know. That's what scientists do, right? They get involved in their work and they think, man, I want to figure this out. I want to develop methods to solve these problems.
Solving big problems. Not just how to get a car to go fast, run for a long time, run reliably, but also how to ensure the greener option gets even more so. David Common, CBC News, Mississauga, Ontario.
Now, electric-powered ground travel is one thing, but for some, the real measure of viability is in the air. And today, there was a major breakthrough. The world's first ever successful flight by a commercial aircraft using only batteries. And as Salima Shivji explains, it's a win for the industry and for Canada.
This may look like a normal old seaplane. It's anything but, and it's making history. The world's first test of a fully electric plane that doesn't emit any carbon emissions, very much dependent on clear skies. The pilot, also the head of the airline, who successfully resisted the winds and the nervous anticipation of those watching, despite a charging glitch the night before.
I got behind the controls of the airplane. I'm focused on getting the flight done. Yeah, I saw people out of the corner of my eye, but it wasn't the focus for me. So it was all sort of business as usual.
Only this business is completely unfamiliar. Harbour Air is aiming to become the world's first all-electric airline, a crowded race to green an industry where emissions are rising faster than all other modes of transport. These few minutes in the air took months of hard work, ripping out its mid-20th century guts and replacing its old motor with an electric one, adding big, rechargeable batteries. The plane still weighs as much as if it were loaded with fuel, and its new motor only has enough battery charge for a short flight. That's why it works for the Seaplane Company that makes short hops into cities near Vancouver. The man whose company designed the motor knows there's a long road ahead, but he wants the electric planes in the air in the next 2 years.
This is the first time this propulsion system flew on this aircraft. What the regulatory body will want to see is that this happens all the time, consistently. What happens when things go wrong?
The certification process will be bumpy, with Transport Canada entering brand new territory. There will be many more test flights before passengers can also hop aboard a fully electric plane. Salima Shivji, CBC News, Richmond, BC.
When we come back, some BC salmon are facing extinction, and the clock is ticking to solve the problem. We will look at why in a few minutes.
I'm Jamie Poisson, and tomorrow on CBC's daily news podcast Front Burner, the new NAFTA. Why did Canada just sign it again? And how do we really come out of it? Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Some salmon stocks in BC may be facing extinction. A rock slide last year blocked a critical migration route. Now, as Tanya Fletcher shows us, the race is on to find a solution before the next spawning season.
We have over 30 species of fish that reside here in the heart.
Dean Work has spent decades fishing along this stretch of the Fraser River.
But this is probably one of the most important, delicate ecosystem areas of the entire 900-mile Fraser River.
But several hundred kilometers upstream, a massive slab of rock crumbled off the side of a cliff, blocking the salmon migration path and triggering an emergency response. Over the summer, helicopters flew tens of thousands of fish up and over the slide in buckets. Crews eventually created a natural passageway so the salmon could swim through on their own. But for some, the rescue operation was too stressful and too late in the delicate spawning cycle. Documents obtained by CBC News now reveal a dire outlook. Government scientists believe there's a meaningful chance of extinction for 3 salmon runs. Others believe it'll be much worse.
We're going to see not 3, we may see 10, 15, 20 of the runs potentially being driven into extinction.
I cried when I first heard that news.
More than 100 First Nations along the Fraser River rely on salmon for food. Some bands have already made alarming observations of their own.
They noticed that there were very few salmon up there, and some tributaries there were where they used to go and spawn, there were none.
And fears are already mounting for next season, too. The internal report warns there's a good chance natural passage won't be fully restored in time for the 2020 salmon run. And officials are now asking for help. It wasn't until late November the federal government put out a formal request for information. They're looking for ideas from the industry, the private sector, and First Nations on ways to get the remaining rocks out of the river.
They've known about it sometime in the middle of late spring, summer freshet. And it takes all the way till December to even start procuring contracts. You know, this is, the Canadian military should be in there. The public works guys from federal government should be. They should be. This is a catastrophe.
A catastrophe experts worry will spell the end for salmon stocks already knocked to their knees by Mother Nature. Tanya Fletcher, CBC News, Chilliwack, BC.
Right after the break, what's got these New Brunswick residents lining up for a long time in the rain? 2 words, chicken bones. We will explain in our moment next. So these people got up bright and early to line up around the block on a rainy morning for a new take on a classic holiday maritime treat. Chicken bones liqueur made from a cinnamon-flavored hard candy stuffed with chocolate. Chicken bones candy has been around for generations, but it was only this year that a New Brunswick distillery turned it into a small batch liqueur. Today was the second run of the stuff, and absolute mania for it, as it turns out, is our moment.
I have my bottle of chicken bone liqueur, finally. I was in line for approximately 2 hours.
Third in line at 7:30.
I was planning to get here about a half an hour early, and I decided better come earlier.
As I said, I did it for the Cabbage Patch Dolls back in the 80s, so I figured, yeah, I can do this.
Everybody's friendly and chatting back and forth, so it's great.
Sold out. Sold out. How lucky do you feel now?
Very, very. Chicken bones has been a big thing in our family for generations. We don't go Christmas without at least having chicken bones in the house, and this will be something nice and new.
We just faked it in the past with, you know, the fireball and the chocolate, but they say it's different than that. We're going to have it at our Christmas dinner.
New Brunswick seems fun. I don't know why, being from Manitoba, I also know what chicken bones are, and I can vouch for their deliciousness and might have been in that line. So good on you, New Brunswick, perhaps across the country. That's the National for December 10th, Tuesday. Good night, everyone. Thanks for watching.